Mill Serp Garage. Here we are with another shotgun. We're gonna do one more in this series of shotguns, then we're gonna move into some handguns. And to cap off this this group of shotguns, we're gonna move out of the Remington Winchester battle that we've been going through back and forth, and we're gonna move into a Browning, and a much newer one. This is a 1971 BT-99. These BT-99s were all made in Japan, the Moroku plant, and these were made, well, there were a lot of different incarnations of these, and we're going to concentrate on the ones that were made from 68 to 75, which is what this one is, part of that group. Technically, they made the BT-99 from 68 to 95, was considered the first incarnation, the first series of them. They call them long tangs because the tang back here, just from a quick look, you could tell that it has a long tang here. They stopped production in 95. They kicked back up again in 2001 to the present. Those are called short tang in that they have a shorter tang back here. This is the long tang here. See if I come up with a picture of the short tang there to show you just what the difference is. These Japanese-made Brownings are awesome. I love them. And I did not have one of these single barrel ones. This one is a, look at that barrel. It's a 32-inch full choke barrel. And I wanted to have one of these for trap. These are, obviously, if it's just single barrel, they are trap guns. You're not going to be shooting a skeet with one of these. I got it cheap because it looks like the guy might have had one of those cameras mounted here that where you document, you know, your shooting. And it left some marks there on the barrel. I'm sure that's why it wasn't getting the attention that it should. Even used, these easily sell for 4 figures, but I got this thing much lower than that, much lower into the 3-digit range. Look at this, how high this rib is on there. Nice, huh? These things are very well respected in the trap shooting circles, and people recognize it immediately, I notice. And you never really see one of these. You see a lot more of the newer ones than these older ones. These older ones are coveted. People love these. So let's see, what kind of nomenclature do I have here? High vented rib, target bead sights, flat style beaver tail forend. So the flat style means, if you notice here, you see this, how it really flattens out here? You see that? This is like the 68 to 75 guns look like that. Funny story, when I actually won this on an auction, and was picking it up local. And it's one of my, you know, a guy that I buy a lot of stuff from. Let's put it that way. And he brought out the wrong one. He had sold 2, and he brought it out and handed it to me. He's like, you know, here it is, as I'm like filling out paperwork. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, I could have sworn this, that. And I wasn't really liking it. I was just looking at it, and I was like, oh, this might have been a mistake. You know, I don't really like this thing. I had done research and looked at the different incarnations of these. And then when he started looking, he realized, he goes, oh my God, I gave you the wrong one. And he went and got this one and put this in my hands. And I was like, now we're talking. It just seemed much thinner, much lighter, smaller. The ones from 76 on, they just, you know, that they're still part of that first group, the 68 to 95 group. But there was a cutoff, like 76, where they changed. The forend got fatter. They're just different. I was poking around online to actually just get a list of all the exact differences. Couldn't really find one. But I did want just one of these first ones, the 68 to 75 ones. And they didn't make many in 68. So you're really just going to kind of find like 69 to 75. It's just a few years. These are the ones, in my opinion, that feel the best. You're going to suffer a little bit because you're just going to have a fixed choke. You're not going to have the invector system back then. However, if you're a trap shooter, I mean, full choke and that's it, right? You don't really need to be switching anything around all over the place. So I don't really see the need for it. I have, I have a couple of these Moroku guns. Here's this is an 83 Satori over-under. It doesn't have the invectors on this one either. But look at how beautiful these things are. All of these Japanese-made Brownings. And I like this one, but I don't really shoot with it all too well. It's those 26-inch barrels. I think they're more made for skeet or sporting clays. Here's a side-by-side. And these are both, this is an 82. And these are both, these are both, I forgot what I was going to say. They're good for sporting clays or for skeet, but I don't do well with them shooting trap. But I adore those things. But I wanted something that's more practical for my trap shooting, and then this 32-inch full choke barrel, this really did it. And then another thing with I noticed they talk about online is that there were years of these things where they shot in different areas, like they would shoot high. Well, they say for trap, you want to have kind of like where you're aiming, you want to be hitting the bird, visualizing it up above the barrel more, because you want to be able to have that visual going on, seeing the clay. But for me, most of the guns that I do good with, I'm sighting right down the barrel. I'm putting that bead right on it. And then, I like high-speed stuff. I noticed this gun does well with, let me grab it, where is it? Does well with this stuff. This high bird. I call this stuff snuffy ammo. Anybody that's over 45 years old would understand why I call it snuffy ammo, because it's high bird. But this stuff, where's the speed? Of course, it's the part that I ripped off, but this stuff is fast. That stuff's like 1,300 feet per second. Snappy ammo, long barrel, and it really beats the crap out of you because this absorbs nothing. And it's like the only absorption is the recoil pad, the butt pad, and even that butt pad, look at this, isn't one of those ones where you see like the crosshatch pattern. It's pretty good. I mean, it's soft, but it's, this thing really rattles your fillings, you know what I mean? But I like that. I don't mind feeling it in my shoulder. But this one will leave you a little black and blue when everything's all said and done. What else do we have here? Any other info? I don't have much. It's tough to find information on these things online. It really is, because there's just so much information on the newer ones. The newer ones have adjustable combs, adjustable buttstock, all this adjustable stuff. In my opinion, less is more. I mean, just adjust how you're holding the gun, adjust everything just with how it's sitting on your shoulder, with where your hands are, with how you're sighting down the barrel. Just adjust that stuff and keep that the same every time, and I think you'll do just fine. I don't think never really thought there was a need to have all these crazy adjustments all over the gun, because what happens when those go out of adjustment or they move, and I don't know. Just thought it's better just to have it all in one spot. Look how beautiful the quality of how this is made, and the wood, really pretty. And these, they come apart just like any of your conventional break action guns. And I love the operation. This one is like, I'd say it's like right in the prime of its life. There's something with the ejectors too. Some of them have extractors and some of them have ejectors. So some of them, it just lifts the round out. After you shoot and you break it open, you have to pull it out. It just kind of like sits there on the edge, and it's up to you to pull it out And then that's the extractor. I think that's like some of the newer ones are like that. And then the ejector ones like this. With this one, it cocks when you open it. Here's a empty husk. Empty husk, is that what it's called? And when you pull the trigger, let me turn it around this way because it'd be a little bit easier for me to. This really shoots out of here. These things do not play. And this ejects it right out, you know, it kicks it out for you. And let me tell you, you got to be really careful. You don't open it up staring right down into it because it'll shoot it right. It'll chip your tooth with the freaking thing. It's like it shoots back over your shoulder a good 10 feet behind you. So you do kind of like, you know, get a motion going where it goes back over your shoulder. And yeah, that's it. I can't say enough praise for like how this thing shoots. I love how it lines right up on my shoulder. I love the pistol grip look to it. I think there were some of these that were straight stock. There are pigeon grade ones of these. There are definitely a million different types of incarnations, but just this let's say stock one does come with this nice scrolling. There's this nice matte finish on the rib here to cut down glare. BT-99 special steel 12 gauge 2 3/4. The scrolling on it is nice. They do a good job, huh? There's that long tang. And what do we got on the other side? We got Browning Arms Company, Morgan, Utah, and Montreal PQ, made in Japan. Do not be afraid of that. Interesting wear right here. Wonder what exactly puts wear on the bluing right in that exact spot. Interesting. But this guy is, like I said, it's about right in the prime of its life. You can kind of tell by the opening arm here when it's after you're fired. You can kind of tell by where it sits that it's like a little bit towards the closing, but new it would have been over a couple of widths of this back part here. It would have been over more this way. And you can just tell by the ease of its opening. Whereas I just have experience with that because this guy is like barely used at all. This guy, I don't even know if this one, I might have fired it once, and when I inherited it, it wasn't fired at all. And you could see just the difference in the resistance of it opening and closing. And you could see how far over this arm is. Did I go the wrong way? I guess I was. Maybe this one opens to the other side. No, I guess it is. I guess it's just, I guess I was going the wrong way. So it would be towards this side. This guy too, same thing. It's pretty new, so you see how that's over this way. It's actually exposing the serial number. I'm glad I looked because I was going the wrong way. So this brand new would be over there somewhere. So this much movement in it is just, it's wear and tear. But it's still good to go. Just you could tell that it just has some mileage on it. But I don't let it flop open at the range, you know what I mean? I'm very careful with it when I open it and close it. No slamming it shut. Nice and easy. It has a great trigger. Doesn't have any safety on it, so you're not accidentally having a safety on, you know, when you're ready to shoot. That's kind of embarrassing. It for a 32-inch barrel, it points nice and sweet. And yeah, I got I think the first time I shot with this gun, I got a 24, and then I thought I was going to do really well with it, but then had some teething problems with it after that. I think I forgot exactly how I was lining up the beads, because it does have the mid bead and the end of the barrel bead. So sometimes guns could be all different. Some of them, they're lined up right on the bird. Some of them, it's like a figure 8 on the bird. So you have like one bead slightly below the other one. I think I was like overthinking it after that. But the first round, it's funny, I notice you always do good with like your first round with a new gun, because you're not thinking too much about the game itself. You're just kind of like, it's new to you. You're feeling out the gun. Does it shoot good? Is the trigger the trigger good? Is the action working right? Is it ejecting properly? You know, there's so many things you're worried about because you've never shot it before. You don't know if the thing's even just going to blow up in your hands. So you're not really thinking too much about the little things. And I noticed that really helps you out to actually shoot well. And then after you shoot a round with it or two, now you know the gun works. So you start concentrating on like, okay, where do I hold the sights? How far do I lead? How far do I this? And then I think you're overthinking it, and that's what starts messing up the game. But after that, then it's like the rest of that day was terrible. I might have shot 2 or 3 games with it, and it was terrible. But then when I went back with it, I was right up again in the upper 20s, and I'm pretty sure I shot a 25 with it at some point. I'm pretty sure I did. I should have always kept records. It'd be always nice to know exactly which guns. The goal would be to shoot a 25 with every shotgun you have. Sounds almost unattainable. So that's the story. The BT-99. I encourage you to do some research if you really want to learn about all the little idiosyncrasies. I'm not going to get into all that craziness. I just wanted to talk about these first ones. And then the first ones just seem to be pretty basic. But I do know that these things are highly respected. I looked through a couple of my books and I found some stuff on it, but it's nothing crazy. It's just like the BT-99. There's a picture of a few of them, and that was it. I think when it was available at first, was only for they were only available in full choke and improved modified, I believe. Then of course, once you go in vector, I mean, you could put anything you want in it. If you wanted to put even a cylinder choke in there, I guess if you wanted to, you could. But the fixed barrel ones, I think at the beginning, were only full and improved modified. And then like there really isn't much. They were just so basic. There really wasn't a lot of information on them. But for trap, these are great. These are great. There's no sense with these other ones here with lugging around a second barrel for no reason. You know what I mean? And then I always had that thing. If you're shooting the top and the bottom, they always have to be off by a little bit each. They have to converge somewhere, right? How far out do they converge? How far out, if it was like, you know, locked in a bench, how far out would like slugs completely like hit in the exact same spot? Same thing with the side-by-side. I mean, do I have to account for that little bit that it's off? Don't think that little bit doesn't matter. Oh, it matters. It certainly matters. I learned a long time ago, I think it was like Hickok 45 who might have actually taught me. It's a long time ago, but it wasn't really that long. I was a late bloomer with the shotguns. And he's the first one to show me when he was shooting that gong with the, I think it might have even been an 870, and he was shooting the gong with slugs, like a rifle, and I really had no idea. I knew slugs you could use them to hunt deer, but it just woke me up as to exactly how tight patterns on shotguns actually were. And so that's it. I recommend these highly as a trap gun. And we're coming back with some handguns. We're going to put the shotguns down for a while, and we're going to come back with some really cool handguns in the future here. And appreciate all the subs and all the attention to the channel. See you all later.